and my project is Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Breaking Barriers Through Law. Ruth Bader Ginsburg is the second female Supreme Court Justice who fights for gender equality every day on the bench. She has worked on over 30 cases fighting against gender discrimination. Ginsburg has broken the glass ceiling and has famously broken barriers through law. Hello, I'm Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and my story starts 243 years ago when Thomas Jefferson famously published the Declaration of Independence, holding the famous quote, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal." Since the beginning of America, it was considered less important for a woman to have her BA than a husband. Women were still breaking barriers and making strides. In 1869, almost 65 years before I was born, a law was passed in Wyoming Territory, giving women the right to vote and serve on juries. It seems ridiculous that women had to fight for something a man could do with the flick of his wrist. Susan B. Anthony was arrested in 1872 for voting in a presidential election. And even in 1933, the year I was born, we, the women, were still told not to become a lawyer, but to marry one. I grew up in a Jewish family, and I was always hated for it. I'll never forget the sign just outside my neighborhood that read, "No dogs or Jews." I couldn't believe that I lived in a world where I was compared to a dog. I also lived in a world where, well, like my father always said, a woman's place is in the home. I knew that was the only thing holding back my mother. My mother was the smartest person I knew and the biggest inspiration to me. My mother told me two things constantly. Always be a lady. Don't give way to emotions that just sap your energy and don't get you any place. And be independent, my Kiki. I know you're strong, but eventually I won't be here to tell you that. So you have to know that you're strong too. I don't think either of us thought I'd have to know so soon. But on June 25th, 1950, just days before my high school graduation, my mother, Celia Bader, passed away of cancer. My grief couldn't last too long. I had received a full ride scholarship to Cornell University, and I knew my mom would want me to be proud of it. I'll never forget the first time I met Ruth. We were supposed to go on a blind date. Of course, I may have cheated a bit. I asked a friend to show me a picture of her. She had bright blue eyes, a gorgeous smile, and a beautiful brain. Many found it inconceivable how an outgoing fellow like me came out so perfectly with a quiet and reserved girl like Ruth. Although our personalities didn't match up, our beliefs certainly did. Ever since I was a young teenage boy, I always thought that a woman's work, whether at home or on the job, is as important as a man's. Ruth thought the very same. In the 1950s, it was not encouraged for a woman to become a lawyer, but I encouraged her nonetheless. I convinced her to attend Harvard Law School after graduating from Cornell, which at the time only 2% were female. The class of 1957 consisted of over 500 men. She was one of 9 women. During my second year of law school, my husband, Marty, was diagnosed with cancer. Now I was a full-time law student, becoming a caretaker of my young daughter and my sick husband. During my first year at law school, the dean held a famous dinner, at which he asked us all, "How about all y'all women stand up and tell me what you are doing taking a seat that could be occupied by a man?" Marty recovered from the cancer, and once he graduated, he got a job in New York at a law firm. We wanted to stay together, so I moved with him and attended Columbia College, joining the class of 1959. After I graduated from Columbia, not one law firm in the entire city of New York would hire me. When I finally got a job in 1963 as an assistant professor at Rutgers School of Law, I was told I was being paid a lower salary because your husband's well-paying job as a lawyer. I took the job because the low was better than nothing, but I wasn't stupid. This wasn't really to even out my family's salary, but yet another way of showing men's superiority over women. My contract at Rutgers was a year-to-year contract. So in 1965, when I found out that I was pregnant with my second daughter, I was scared that if my husband found out, my contract might not be renewed. So I wore my mother's oversized clothes to hide the fact that I would soon be a mother of 2. On September 8, 1965, I gave birth to a healthy baby boy, whom I named James. While at Rutgers, I had a course about gender and law. This course started my motive to deal with gender discrimination cases. The American Civil Liberties Union, the ACLU, reached out to me and asked if I would like to work on the Women's Rights Project that had just started. I said yes. The ACLU gave me my first case in front of the Supreme Court. The case was the 1965 Frontiero versus Richardson case. The case focused on Sharon Frontiero, second lieutenant in the Air Force, not receiving the housing allowance all the other men have been receiving. We entered the court with the notion of finally showing these 9 justices that gender-based discrimination is real. We won the case that I considered a loss. I wanted gender discrimination to be treated the same as racial discrimination, but only 4 judges signed on to the idea, and we needed 5. I continued to speak up for gender equality. In 1973, I worked on the Weinberger versus Weisenfeld case. The case fought for Stefan Weisenfeld, a man whose wife tragically died hours after the birth of their son. Stefan decided he would become a caring parent to a child. When he asked for the benefits a sole surviving parent to receive, he was denied the benefits because the benefit was called a mother's benefit, and he did not qualify. This case was the perfect strategy because it gave the 9 male justices something to relate to. We won the case. In 1977, I worked on the California versus Goldfarb case. The case focused on widower, young Goldfarb, who, when his wife passed away, was denied the benefits he should receive because he couldn't prove that he was dependent on his wife for more than half his life. When a woman is widowed, she has not to prove anything. This case was the perfect example of how gender-based discrimination can affect everyone. We again won the case. I won 5 out of the 6 cases I argued before the Supreme Court, but I wanted to do more. On June 28, 1993, Byron Wright retired from the Supreme Court. This meant that the current president at the time, Bill Clinton, had to choose a replacement. Many considered Ruth too old to be on the Supreme Court. She was in her early 60s, and many didn't think she'd be a long-term replacement, but I didn't count out. If Ruth wasn't going to speak up, I knew I would, so I, Martin Ginsburg, campaigned for my wife. Once Ruth got the interview with President Clinton, I knew she had the nomination. After my interview, it was announced that President Clinton was nominating me to be the 107th Supreme Court Justice of the United States of America. I was overwhelmed with excitement, but I hadn't gotten the job quite yet. Day 2 of the Ruth Bader Ginsburg confirmation hearings. Today, Justice Ginsburg did something no recent High Court nominee has done. Spoke at length for her support for abortion rights. Oh yay, oh yay, oh yay. I was confirmed 96-3. I would be sworn in to become the 107th Supreme Court Justice of the United States of America, and only the 2nd female. Although the numbers are amazing, it wasn't a record I was trying to break. The millions of barriers that sexual discrimination caused was what I really wanted to break. In 1996, I was faced with the United States versus Virginia case. The case focused on the Virginia Military Institute, the only state-supported school in the country with all male students. An anonymous female student wanted to attend BMI, but was denied the right to attend because of her gender. She brought the case to the United States of America, saying that Virginia violated the Equal Protection Clause. This case was an extremely important case to me, because it was my first case on the Supreme Court that dealt with gender discrimination. I was given the honor to announce majority opinion. The United States maintains that the Constitution's equal protection guarantee precludes Virginia from reserving exclusively to men the unique educational opportunities VMI affords. We agree. I continue to fight against gender discrimination. I have worked in over 30 cases fighting against gender equality, breaking barriers for men and women, giving them the independence to become anything without the need of a husband or wife. I've become known for my dissents on many cases, and I'm neither afraid nor embarrassed to have a different opinion than all the other justices on the court. I have broken the glass ceiling, and through all my hard work, I have finally shattered the barrier, keeping men and women in the work field separate. I never intended to be the famous dissenter. I only intend to make this awful gender discriminatory barrier through my work in the law.